Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm David and you're watching Riverfront Aquatics, and today we're going to start a series video here and it's going to be on filtration. Alright, so video 1 of the series for filtration. Today we're going to talk about this right here, the sponge filter. So what can I say about the sponge filter? Well, it's very easy to use. All you need is an air pump, airline tubing, and that's it. So when you get your sponge filter, most people think usually these. Comes with the uplift tube, comes with the nipple to put the airline tubing on, but you can take that off, and then you can slide the sponge right on out, and then you have the cage on which the sponge actually sits on, and then the weight where it lets it stay at the bottom of the tank. Generally, when you speak to most people and tell them you use sponge filters, they usually think of these 95% of the time. But there are some variations that you can use, such as the Hamburg and Matten sponge filter, which I can show you guys. I have one on one of my tanks in the fish room here. And then they also have this one, which I'm about to go grab for you guys and show you it. Well, they also have these right here, which I like these personally, but that sponge isn't that big, so there's not a lot of surface area for the bacteria to grow on. But I do like the fact that it has a directional outflow tube. So when I put it in, I can put it close to the near the surface and it's going to push the water this way instead of just bubbling straight up. So how do you hook these up? Well, you take this uplift tube off. You put your airline tubing right on through it. Take the end of the airline tubing, and there is a little nipple on the inside of these. Just take it, put that airline tubing right on it. It's a little hard, complicated sometimes, but once you can get it on there, it works wonders. Then you put the uplift tube back in there, connect it to an air pump. That's it. Simple, no cords. Only cord you really have is from the air pump, and yeah, no media to have to deal with, because this right here is its media itself. You get mechanical filtration as well as biological out of these, but this one works the same way. You put your airline here, and as air is pushed in and sucks water through here, it gets pushed back up this way and gets pushed out that way. I like these better, but I'm always going to stick tried and true to the old style ones. Now, what size tank would I put these on? Well, personally, I don't use them for any tank bigger than a 75-gallon tank, and that's pushing it for a 75-gallon tank to me, because anything bigger than that, I typically use hang on the back filters. If I have it, I will do a sump or a canister filter, which these other filtrations will be in the other part of the series. So continue to watch out for those. But most of my sponge filters are on my 10 gallons. That one that I just showed you with the output tube that allows water to go this way, that's on my 2.5 gallon egg hatching tank. I have it on my 20 long fry system, which I'll be putting out a video about that soon. It's on my 20 gallons, my 30 gallon for my brackish water puffer. Did have one on the 55, but I took it out because I got the Aquarium Co-op fluidized media. It's technically, kind of like sponge filter, has sponge at the bottom, but it's a fluidized bed moving media that only uses air as well. So now on to the big thing. Type of sponge filter, size, and the type of the sponge. This is a fine sponge. They're good and all, but they're going to get clogged fast because there's not a lot of room for dirt to be able to get trapped deeper in. It's all on the outside and it's going to get caked. So these need to be serviced probably maybe once every month, and depending on how much detritus and stuff you have in the water column, maybe every 2 weeks. I wouldn't do them when you do your water changes. Don't disrupt the cycle. But they also do make one, and I use the Aquarium Co-op version, which I will link right here. It is a coarse sponge filter, much bigger holes in the sponge, can collect more and doesn't get clogged as fast. I'll actually show a B-roll clip of one in my 40-gallon breeder with the angels that I'm raising up, and it works tremendously. So much easier to clean. To be honest, the fine ones are very hard to clean. I mean, you can clean them, but it takes a lot longer than the coarse sponge filters. Also, if you guys want to see a video on how to clean these, well, leave a comment down below and tell us that that's what you want to see, and we'll go ahead and work on a video and show you how to take these out of the tank, clean them, and get them working optimally like they did from day one. And I'll show you both on how to do the fine one and the coarse one right over there in that 40-gallon breeder. That way you know how to do it and what to be looking for. So what are the benefits to a sponge filter? Well, like I said, all you need is airline and air. An air pump to supply air to the sponge filter, and well, that's it. Downsides, they're bulky, they take up room in the tank, they can look not so well if you're doing an aquascape or something like that. But to that, you could use some of the aquascaping materials to kind of hide the sponge filter in the back and take it away from the eye and everything else. The pros outweigh the cons to me. They do mechanical filtration, they do biological filtration, and it's an easy filter to use. It's not complicated. You don't have those, filter carbon things that come in the hang-on backs. You don't have, another tank underneath your tank to run a sump and all this other stuff. It's just simple. You throw it in, you throw some airline on it, you throw air on it, and boom, there you go. But you do need to service them, because if they get gunked up, then it's really pointless because they're not doing anything. So you need to service them. Alright, so let's talk about size of the sponge filter. So you have anywhere from a nano sponge filter to, I've seen them on Amazon go to a 125-gallon sponge filter, which are ridiculously huge, and people sometimes will use them in ponds like the one behind me, but I prefer using the trash can filter I have. I think it's just more beneficial and does better than a sponge filter would in that mass amount of volume of water. One thing you'll notice when you hook up your sponge filter is the way the bubbles just kind of glug. Well, there's a fix for that, and Aquarium Co-op thought about that, and that's why I love their sponge filters. You can put an air stone. If you take the top off and you put the air stone underneath, it makes the bubbles more uniform and actually makes the sponge filter more efficient. So, in another video, on a side video from this, if you guys want me to show and explain how to do that, I will do that, and just comment down below and let us know about that. But that is all I have for today's video. It's just a simple explanation on the sponge filter, why it's a good choice for filtration, what it does, and how it works. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. This is the first video in the filtration series that I'm going to start on our channel, and I hope you learned a lot about sponge filters in this video. I hope I could answer some questions. If there's anything you thought that I need to explain better or whatever, just drop it down in the comments and I'll see what I can do about when I set up the next video to explain how to clean them, see if I can enlighten on that point in the next video. But until the next one, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and again, go check out our other social media. We have Facebook and TikTok. It would be greatly appreciated. But until next one, peace out, y'all.